All right, guys, here we go. We're back. It is Monday. What a week one. What a week one. Football was back. A lot of sloppiness, but as the NFL does, we did get a couple late um things that happened in some of these games. But some shockers. I mean, one for sure, but all right. So, yeah, let's get right to it. All right, Friday night, we didn't get to recap the Friday night game, but Friday night, the Packers, Eagles in Brazil. The field was a little weird. People were slipping left and right, so that wasn't good. Eagles get the win 34-29. It was not pretty. Um, Jalen went 20 for 34, two touchdowns, two interceptions, got sacked twice. Jordan Love went 17 for 34, 260, two touchdowns, and one interception, only got sacked once. Um, the bad news is Jordan Love gets hurt late. He's going to be at 3 to 6 weeks with the MCL sprain, I believe is the injury. Um, both teams have new running backs who came from somewhere else. The Packers, Josh Jacobs, 16 for 84. That 84 was something that he had to work for. He averaged 5.3 yards. At the beginning, his first 6 or 7 runs weren't really that good. The Eagles defense was on it. Emmanuel Wilson came in a little bit and he was getting movement. Um, but he only rushed 4 for 46. He averaged 11.5 a carry. Uh, Jaden Reed had a big day against the Eagles defense with a few long plays. He ended up with 4 catches, 138, and a touchdown on six targets. He also had a rushing touchdown that went for 33 yards. Um, all the other receivers, Romeo Dobbs was targeted 7 times, only caught the ball 4. Watson got targeted 5 times, only caught the ball 3 times. As far as the Eagles, new running back Saquon Barkley rushed 24 times for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also had a touchdown receiving. He had 2 catches, 23 yards, and a touchdown receiving. Other receiving stats for the Eagles: Devontae Smith, 7 catches on 8 targets for 84 yards. Also, AJ Brown, 5 catches, 119 yards, and a touchdown on 10 targets. He had the big 67-yard 60 something yard touchdown in the first series to start the second half. Um, it was sloppy on both sides. Both teams, got a lot of new things going on, new coordinators. Um, Green Bay with a new defensive coordinator. The Eagles with both coordinators. I did, as an Eagles fan, I did see some things that I liked offensively with the way they were lined up and things I don't remember seeing last year. But we'll see um, as the game goes on. A lot of motion. I think it was like 66% of the snaps. There was motion for the Eagles, something that a lot of people made a big deal about last year, them not doing. So looks good there. Defense had a lot of key stops and they needed to get stops. They give up a few big plays, but it is week one. The field was sloppy, a lot of slipping and everything. But we'll see. You can only improve from here. Like I said, Vic Fangio's defense, kind of I expected them, kind of like the Dolphins, to take some time to adjust in that sense. But yeah. All right, we move on. Um, I don't know why I didn't plan it this way. But the next game is the Steelers going to Atlanta to face the Falcons. The Eagles play the Falcons next Monday night. The Steelers. Justin Fields ended up getting the start because Russell Wilson had a calf injury. Uh, he went 17 for 23, 156 yards, no TDs, no touchdowns. He did get sacked twice for 23 yards. Kirk Cousins, 16 for 26, 155, one touchdown, two interceptions. It was a defensive game, honestly. This ended up being 18-10, the score. There was no touchdown scored by the Steelers. It was a touchdown scored by the Falcons. It was kind of sloppy, but it was the defenses were on top of things. Stat lines for the Steelers: Najee Harris 20 carries, 70 yards, so again 3.5. They got to improve on that. Justin Fields rushed 14 times for 57 yards. Um, George Pickens receiving 6 catches on 85 yards on 7 targets. And Pat Fairmouth, who they just gave a contract extension to, 4 catches and 4 targets for 27 yards. Like I said, no touchdowns here. TJ Watt, as always, having a big day. I think he calls like Kirk to fumble like 4 or 5 times. Offensively for the Atlanta Falcons, Bijan Robinson, 18 carries, 68 yards. Bijan Robinson also had 5 catches on 5 targets for 43 yards. Ray McLeod got 7 targets. He caught 4 of them for 52 yards. He was Kirk's favorite target on this game because it looked like Pittsburgh zoomed in on Drake London and Darnell Mooney and were able to get a hold of the Falcons' targets. Also, that line struggled against whatever pressure the Steelers were putting up because they were in Kirk's face. He also didn't have time. I mean, you get it. Anyway, but yeah, that was that. I still think the Falcons are a pretty decent team. The Steelers are always well coached, especially defensively. Offensively, they didn't look great. I don't know if because of the last minute start by Justin Fields and these guys in the first team. We'll see as they continue if it's going to be Fields or Russ. I thought that if Justin had a great game, Russ shouldn't even start, even if he was healthy. Keep the momentum going. But I think the Falcons will look better. I don't know if they'll win their next game, but I think the Falcons will look better. They just got to get in the groove. So the Steelers, but they're the ones who ended up with the win. So yeah, not much of a groove to find. Uh anyway, we move on. The Bills are hosting the Arizona Cardinals. In obviously in Buffalo. I don't know why I was saying that. Yes. So the Bills win 34-28. Um, the Cardinals look pretty good. Kyler Murray went 21 for 31, 162 yards and a touchdown. He also rushed 5 times for 57 yards. James Conner rushed 16 times for 50 yards. Got to get a little more efficient there. Greg Dortch, 6 catches on 8 targets for 47 yards. Trey McBride, 5 catches on 9 targets for 30 yards. So got to improve on that. Marvin Harrison Jr. only got targeted 3 times, only caught 1 for 4. The Bills did a good job of keying on him, and essentially shutting him down in his first NFL game. For the Buffalo Bills, obviously the new Buffalo Bills offense. This was going to be more on Josh to show that he was that elite quarterback, but I think what he showed is that he is going to try to do everything. He went 18 for 23, 232 yards, passing 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, got sacked twice for 10 yards. James Cook rushed 19 times for 71 yards. Josh Allen rushed 9 times, 39 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So Josh Allen accounted for all the touchdowns. He threw 2, rushed 2. He felt like he was doing everything he could, and it worked. Receiving, rookie Keon Coleman, 4 catches on 5 targets for 51 yards. The 2 touchdown scorers, the one was Khalil Shakir. He had 3 catches for 42 yards, and that touchdown. The other touchdown catcher was Matt Collins, 2 catches, 25 yards, and a touchdown. So that was the Bills. They started 1-0. We'll see how they continue because I don't think Josh can take that much. I mean, he can take it. He has the body size, but we'll see how long we last here and take that beating from trying to rush all the time. And then, but he did spread the ball around fairly great. So they're 1-0. We'll see how the schedule goes. Arizona is going to make teams work this year. They are not a bad team. Uh, so look out for them. All right, we continue. The Tennessee Titans were at the Bears. The Bears end up getting the win 24-17. Was not a pretty game by anyone at all on each side. Let's start with the Titans. Will Levis, 19 for 32, 127 yards, a touchdown, and two interceptions. Got sacked three times. Tony Pollard had a decent day, 16 carries for 82 yards and a touchdown. So maybe Tennessee needs to look into that. Calvin Ridley, a new receiver, three catches on seven targets for 50 yards. DeAndre Hopkins only got targeted once for 8 yards. Tyler Boyd, three catches on five targets. Not a pretty game. Like I said, it was not a pretty game for the Bears. The Bears looked bad all around. Um, they won because of their defense, because they were able to force Will Levis to make mistakes. Caleb Williams in his debut went 14 for 29, 93 yards. Got sacked twice for 29 yards. Not great. He also rushed for five times for 15 yards. DeAndre Swift on the ground, the new running back, 10 rushes for 30 yards, not good. DJ Moore caught had five catches on eight targets for 36 yards. Keenan Allen had four catches on 11 targets for 29 yards. And Roman Dunze had one catch, 11 yards on four targets. It was not pretty. This Bears offense and the defense for a lot of the game did not look that great. Not at all. So I think these two teams are a little better than what they showed against each other. Do I think that they kind of measure out the same? So the game was what it was? Yeah, probably. But yeah, it was sloppy, both ends. Bears from, what I know it's only week one, with the potential I kind of saw in them. They looked like, yeah, they looked like they had a rookie quarterback out there. So yeah, we keep going. Uh New England with the shocker of the day. They go to Cincinnati, beat the Bengals 16-10. The Bengals came out with that all orange uniform. All for it. Jacoby Brissett, it wasn't pretty, but they got the win. Jacoby Brissett went 15 for 24, 121 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, got sacked once. Ramondre Stevenson, 25 carries for 120 yards and a touchdown. Like I said, not a lot going on in the air. Their leading receiver is KJ Osborne. He had three catches for 21 yards, and only leading receiver because of the catches. After that was Austin Hooper, two catches, 31 yards. He had the most yards. Not pretty there. Wasn't pretty on the other side either. Joe Burrow, 21 for 29, 164 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Got sacked three times. Zach Moss, 9 carries, 44 yards, and a touchdown. That was the only offense they were able to get going. T. Higgins did not play. Jamar Chase did play. 6 catches on 6 targets for 62 yards. And that was about it. The Bengals look rusty. The New England defense was doing their thing. And it wasn't a pretty game. It was almost like the game we just talked about. I'm not worried about the Cincinnati Bengals. If I see it like next week and the week after that, then I'll worry. But this is week one. A lot of weird things will happen week one. We continue division game, one of the very few division games. The Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. Very, very entertaining game. Let's start with the Texans. CJ Stroud, 24 for 32 on 234 yards, two touchdowns, no interceptions, got sacked 4 times. Joe Mixon, his Texans debut, 30 rushes, 159 yards, and a touchdown. Nico Collins, big day, 6 catches, 117 yards, no touchdowns. The new weapon, Stephon Diggs, had 6 catches on 6 targets for 33 yards and two touchdowns. So there were the two touchdowns that were scored by CJ Stroud. By the way, Texans won 29-27. This was a very entertaining game. Like I said, Anthony Richardson went 9 for 19 and for 212 yards, two touchdowns and an interception, got sacked twice. I didn't realize this as I was watching the game. He only made 9 completions, only threw 19 times. He did carry the ball 6 times for 56 yards and scored once. Jonathan Taylor carried the ball 16 times for 48 yards and scored once as well. But there was a two or three of those 19 of those nine completions that Anthony Nugent had that were bombs. That's why he had 212 yards. Alec Pierce caught one of those bombs for 60 yards and a touchdown. He had three catches, 125, and that touchdown. Ashton Doolin caught the other one, and that was his only catch for 54 yards and a touchdown. So he had a 54-yard touchdown and a 60-yard touchdown. Anthony Richardson did. Um, Michael Pittman got targeted 8 times, only caught four for 31. Um, this was a battle. I think this division is going to be a battle. Um, but both teams look good. Obviously, for a week one, it was a, as you can say, it was a shootout. Um, and it was very entertaining. Probably the most entertaining game of the Sunday, I might say. All right, let's keep going. Week one stuff. The Jaguars going to Miami. So in Florida battle. Um, this wasn't a pretty game either. Trevor Lawrence 12 for 21, 162 and a touchdown. Travis Etienne rushed 12 times for 44 yards and a touchdown. I think Bigsby also rushed for 12 times for 73 yards. So it looks like they kind of split the backfield there a little bit. Don't know if that was on purpose or just how the game went. Um, Receiving wise, Gabe Davis, new weapon, three catches on three targets for 62 yards. Brian Thomas, the rookie, four catches on four targets, 47 yards, and a touchdown. Christian Kirk had four targets, only one catch for 30 yards. Evan Ingram had four targets, only one catch for 5 yards. The Jags ended up losing that game in the last minute with a field goal by Jason Sanders, 20-17. Tua and the Dolphins um, looked a little slow um, to start. Um, Tua went 23 for 37 for 338 yards and a touchdown. And you might look at those stats and, oh, he got a touchdown. Yeah, they only won 20-17. Devon Achane coming back from injury, rushed 10 times for 24 yards. Jeff Wilson rushed 5 times for 26 yards. Raheem Mostert was only used 6 times rushing for receiving. Tua did have a big day receiving. They just couldn't cap it all with touchdowns. Tariq has 7 catches on 12 targets for 130 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Waddle had 5 catches on 5 targets for 109 yards. And then Devin Achane out of the backfield had 7 catches, 76 yards. There was some explosive plays, but they weren't able to finish. The Jacksonville Jaguars defense was stingy enough, but the Dolphins ended up getting the win. So not worry, they'll warm up. A lot of people didn't get time in the preseason, and I mean, I'm not one of these people who wants these guys to play in the preseason, but I mean, that could have played a part into it. Not much to talk about in the next game. New Orleans Saints at home hosting the Carolina Panthers. The New Orleans Saints win 47-10. Uh, it doesn't look good there in Carolina, and I'm not saying that Bryce Young is horrible. I think there's a mess around him, so that's all I'm going to say. There's another mess in New York. The Vikings go into New York with Sam Darnold. Get the win 28-6. Sam Darnold went 19 for 24, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception. There was a point in the first half he went 13 for 14. And his first incompletion was on the last throw of that half. Aaron Jones 14 for 94 and a touchdown. He's the new weapon. Justin Jefferson had 4 catches, 6 targets, so 59 yards. The Giants, Dana Jones, 22-42, 186. Not really a big day. They're gonna struggle. They're gonna struggle. They're gonna struggle. They're gonna struggle. So we'll see. All right, the afternoon games. Chargers, Raiders. It was a little sloppy. Raiders didn't look good. Justin Herbert and those guys looked okay. Justin only went 17 for 2,604 yards. They got all their offense on the ground. J.K. Dobbins 10 carries for 135 and a touchdown. Gus Edwards 11 carries for 26 yards. I think, like I said, the Chargers will do better than the Raiders, but the Raiders are another mess. And yeah, We'll see. Another sloppy game. Seattle hosting Denver. Seattle wins 26-20. Bo Nix went 26 for 42, 138 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions in his debut. Geno Smith went 18 for 25, a touchdown and an interception. Um, Kenneth Walker had 20 carries for 103 and a touchdown. Good for him. Did rush for a touchdown as well. And Zach Charbonnet caught a touchdown in the backfield. Cowboys, Browns. My God. Cowboys win 33-17. The Browns look like poop. The conversations have already started mid-game about putting Jameis because Deshaun didn't look good at all. That's what I'll say. The Cowboys took advantage of that. Dak went 19 for 32, 179 yards and a touchdown. He got his contract earlier that day. So offensively, they didn't look that good. They did, score points. Deshaun threw 2 interceptions. They did score, a touchdown on the ground with Zeke and a touchdown throwing by Dak. But those 33 points were off of, there's a lot of field goals and then some defensive things that happened. But Turpin with a punt return. That was one of the touchdowns. Special teams played a part. This Cleveland defense wasn't really as bad as the score seems like, but the offense just didn't help the cause. In Tampa, the Buccaneers hosting the Commanders. Jaden Daniels' debut. Baker looked good, 24 for 30, 289, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, got sacked once. Chris Godwin, 8 catches on 8 targets for 83 yards and a touchdown. Mike Evans, 5 catches on 6 targets, 61 yards and 2 touchdowns. He is going to get another 1,000-yard season. Jaden Daniels did a lot. The Commanders look like a team with a rookie quarterback. So we'll see how they build on that. The Sunday night game, Detroit Lions win in overtime 26-20 over the Rams. Lions got it done on the ground. 17 carries for David Montgomery for 91 yards. 11 carries for Jahmyr Gibbs for 40 yards. Jamison Williams, the third-year receiver, had a big game. 5 catches on 9 targets, 121 yards, and a touchdown. Cooper Kupp, 14 catches on 21 targets for 110 yards and a touchdown. Puka Nacua got hurt in the game. Didn't play most of the game. But the Lions get the win in overtime. All right, guys. What a Sunday. What a Sunday it was. We got Monday night tonight with the 49ers and the Jets. So enjoy that. And we'll recap that. It'll be a shorter episode than this. But thank you for tuning in to Competition Timeout. Peace out.